The title of our research is Supporting Faculty Professional Needs, Improving Job Performance and Satisfaction by our mentor, Jamila Hagazi. The purpose of this research is to better understand the perspectives of tenured track and tenured full-time faculty who face professional obstacles while working for universities. The COVID-19 pandemic rapidly changed the landscape of higher education in just a few weeks. And we wanted to get more introspective in how that affected the workplace. We went with qualitative research instead of quantitative research to get further insight and faculty perspectives who faced professional challenges during university employment. The research question is as follows. What was the teaching experience like for full-time tenure track and tenured faculty members who faced challenges in their careers before and during the pandemic at an associate degree institution in a major American city? We wanted to get the perspectives on their motivations and how this affected student outcomes. The findings from these interviews can help improve workplace culture and virtual innovations to better engage students that can increase the institution's status. Prior to the pandemic, faculty had a range of concerns. Some of these included a great work-life balance, making a fair salary, a sense of security in their value to the institution, administrative support, and more learner-centered classrooms where students could contribute more and engage authentically. Some new concerns after the pandemic included redesigning the courses, turning lesson plans that were pretty condensed into Zoom calls, dealing with the typical class size that went up because now administration didn't have to worry about filling actual seats in a classroom, and just learning new online systems. Most professors were already proficient in Blackboard and other educational applications for instructional use. However, the introduction of conducting classes through online conference rooms was relatively new, and this was something that they had to deal with. The conceptual framework is based off two important theories. Hirschberg's motivator hygiene theory identifies job characteristics that contribute to or lack satisfaction, while Werner's theory explores participants' perceived causes of job gratification or discontent. These were chosen because it relates to the workplace and how employees need a feeling of worthiness and motivation to perform better in the classroom. It took a year for us to get IRB approval, but we did get it on first submission. After obtaining IRB approval, we invited faculty members to participate in semi-structured interviews conducted via Zoom. Each session was recorded and transcribed verbatim for analysis using NVivo software. Then we developed categories and themes from said interviews. We interpreted the findings from all the interviews and we put them into codes and themes, and we will use those codes and themes to develop a model for supporting faculty in their profession. We will then have members confirm our interpretations, and those are what we call member checks. And finally, we will propose recommendations to address the needs of faculty with our codes and themes and our findings.
Based on Hertzberg's theory, one of the main codes was salary increases. From the participants' responses, the negatives of the job was work and life imbalance, lack of clarity for salary increases, and being underpaid. However, there were some positives, which are projects that provided stipends, which helps, and also because of the union support, there are some transparency in terms of salary increases. Physical working conditions. Our findings show that newer buildings are more accommodating, older buildings need improvement, and there is insufficient office space. A pro to this was that during COVID-19, the school did support faculty and students with computers for those who needed it. Faculties came back into the classroom, and one mentioned it was super clean and had wipes, but not enough room for social distancing. Hertzberg's theory also emphasized on a concern for interpersonal relationships. The outliers we noted were unethical plagiarism amongst faculty and previous chair supported faculty tenure. Most of the participants mentioned seeing whisper-type network among same race ethnicity, and the relationship with chairs were horrendous, toxic, and it was a barrier for professional advancement. The concern for professional development. Prior to COVID-19, participants mentioned there was little support for mentorship and professional development. However, during COVID-19, there was increased funded opportunities. A motivating factor mentioned from a majority of the participants was that work was meaningful, and these faculty continue to work regardless of all the negatives of the job because they love to see their students succeed and they have a love for teaching. Here are the findings from the participant's statement and the speech bubble, which show what's significant and stood out. For example, one of the findings was inconsistent leadership among chairs, where one stated, I have had different chairs. One was particularly horrendous, misogynist, toxic, and that was awful. Whereas another stated, my current chair is a dream, and that is also what's making my quality of life. However, what's common with all the professors was that although there were many negatives to the job, what motivated them to work was that work was meaningful. One stated, we're working in a community college. We've made a commitment to teaching our students and they need to recognize what we do. That is good teaching. You know, we enjoy things that we do. Another stated, I enjoy working at the school with the students. As with all research, there were some limitations. We were limited to conducting at one college and excluding adjunct faculties, which limited our participants pool. Reason why we thought to exclude adjunct faculty is that tenure track and tenure faculty voiced it workplace concerns. Next steps include following up with the participants to do a member check. Finally, we will provide some recommendations for future study. This research couldn't have been made possible without Dr. Higazi, Francis, Dr. Tamari, the KBCC CRIS team, ourselves, and the support from our families. Thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to hearing your feedback.